Welcome to Drunk Bible Study. This show's mission is to read every single word of the greatest story ever told. A warning to our listeners, the hosts of this show are sinners, but they're doing their best. There will be drinking and there may be some swears. They did say they'd try to keep it clean, but I wouldn't put my money on it.
I'm Emily, and this is Drunk Bible Study, where my good friends who are sitting next to me, Dedeker and Jace, teach me, a born and raised atheist, all about the Bible.
That's an occupational hazard of recording this podcast in
Apparently.
person as we bump into each
That's
other when
true.
we're dancing.
That's true.
When you're just on a Zoom call, you can go nuts.
I know, yeah, there's nothing to bump into except for potentially a cat or, the lady or
Recording
something along those
equipment.
lines. Exactly,
Just
yeah.
knock it right down.
So it turns out there's actually quite a number of things.
All right,
that we
but
could knock
not
into.
a human person. So, yes. Today, we are back. We are in Hong Kong still, recording
Yes.
together. Beautiful. I guess this is the last day that we're recording together in Hong Kong.
Yeah, at least for a few more weeks.
Yes, but then we'll be recording together in Japan.
Mhm.
Just for 1
Wow.
week, though.
Yeah.
one
Just
week
doing
of
a
that.
real DBS world tour.
I
you
know. Yeah, we got to go other places too, though. I'm hoping this is only the beginning of the potential world tour to come.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, the funniest thing would be to do a world tour of religious sites or at religious sites.
What, I see, record live from various
Well,
religion, or just
recording
I don't-
live
maybe not
from
live.
From
Jerusalem.
the Vatican.
Yeah, live might be
gosh.
tough.
Yeah,
the
that might be a little
Vatican.
bit tough, but
But what
Yeah.
if the Pope could be like a special guest or something?
boy,
Can
oh
you?
boy.
Would you imagine? So we need to get a lot better at Italian. I'm sure that he speaks some English, but
A
I
lot
would
of
like to be
people would have to get really cool with a lot of things real fast in order for that reality to happen.
like being gay just became okay or something. So yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyways. Okay, we're continuing on this Nehemiah book. Again, I'm like, wow, an entire week has passed. Like, what happened? You guys just got here the last time we recorded this, which is remarkable.
Yeah.
I really don't know how you woke up the next day and recorded a podcast and drank a beer.
We had arrived off of our 15-hour flight less
Yeah.
than 24 hours before.
Yes.
Probably maybe just over 12 hours before we recorded last time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly.
But we did it. It's because we're so dedicated.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's
to
true.
you, our listeners.
It's true. It's very, very true. I was doing a cabaret last night. It was a Christmas cabaret, and some people were dancing to some Jesus songs.
Oh.
And-
just tell us about that.
Yes, there was a Jesus song that was about his name and talking about how beautiful the name is and how he has no equal.
Yep.
And stuff like that.
Wow.
Jesus has no equal.
What kind of dancing was it? Like some kind of lyrical
It
interpretive?
was pretty lyrical. It wasn't
Okay.
interpreted. I mean, it was definitely somebody choreographed it. It was quite beautiful, actually. And then these stars came out. They had these paper stars that lit up.
Whoa.
And it was, the
Production
dancers
quality.
here are freaking amazing. They're
Yeah.
really,
But
really
we're
good.
also
It was
learning
quite beautiful.
a lot of Crizzos that work at Hong Kong Disneyland, apparently.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, people who are very Christian and talking about their Christianity and how they want their partners to be Christian too. So this is all new to me, is basically what I'm
Right.
saying.
I do feel like we're in a part of the world where missionaries were
More
pretty
successful.
Successful?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they were not as successful in Japan.
No, yeah, Japanese people are like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, not as much, but
They're like, Jesus, he's another one of the gods? Sure.
Sure.
Cool. Yeah, that's fine.
There
Yeah.
you
Put him in the
go.
lineup. Why not?
exactly. Okay, so I'm sorry. What happened in Nehemiah last
okay.
time? More building of the
remember,
temple?
he's played by Viggo Mortensen.
Yes.
So
Oh,
yeah,
he knows how to get shit done.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know, he can, right, he kind of rallied everybody. So everybody
Okay.
was working on the wall, but also armed to the teeth at the
Yeah.
same time.
Oh,
they were
yeah.
just ready to go. The
Yeah.
militia was ready to go at literally any moment.
Like a brick in one hand, brick and mortar in one hand, and like a spear
Sword
in the other.
yes.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool.
It was super cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and he gave the lecture to the richer Jews. It was like,
yeah.
stop disenfranchising your
the-
own people, please.
yes.
And they were like,
Right.
all right.
They're like, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really does get stuff done. And like you said, you're like, maybe the scribe sort of glossed over all of the back and forth.
Right.
And we're just like, yes, and then they did it.
And then
that's it. Yeah, I will say when I went into work last Friday and I was like, yeah, today we read Nehemiah. Sean, who's like the very Christian one of our group, was like, yay! And it was like, oh my gosh, like, how did you like it? And I was like, it's cool, man. It's cool.
The list of names, less cool. But
Yeah.
You're like, I loved Viggo Mortensen's work. He was great.
Oh yeah, because you had to say a lot of names last time.
And I will warn you for the reading today.
Is it me?
Everyone.
Oh.
Everyone has a list of names of some sort.
Okay.
Like I tried ever since I do try.
It's okay.
Just know that I try. There's no avoiding it this week.
No,
Every
that's
single
fine.
chapter has some kind of list
That's
of
fine.
names. So
It's
don't
okay
get
if
mad
it's
at
me. I just don't want it to be me all the time.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Well, today it's all of us.
Okay.
What's nice though is it does seem to be a mix of story and names.
Oh, good.
Yes, it's not
versus
just
something.
names.
Yeah,
Yeah.
last
Okay.
week it was that one chapter of
Yeah. Whew.
just names.
Yeah,
That was
even
all
our
you.
editor sent us a picture of the bottle of wine she had to drink to get through.
That's amazing. Yeah, for sure. Speaking of drinks, what are you two drinking?
Oh, well, of course, the classic Hong Kong breakfast beer.
Ooh,
Mine
which
is a Vienna lager that has like a whole like fan fiction story on it.
Wow.
About some kind of steampunk
Yeah, can you summarize?
Air Force. I can summarize. There was some kind of steampunk Air Force. Bread rolls floated around in the sky, and that was it. And then they made them into beer. This one is called a VHX.
Could you spell that for us?
The VHHX subtitle, the go-around bread rolls.
I missed a subtitle.
Go around bread rolls.
The go-around bread rolls.
Go around
That's a
bread
str-
roll.
I guess it tastes like a bread roll that's been
there you go.
floating in the air.
Yum. Yeah.
It's just been drifting through the air.
Mhm.
Wow. Gosh. Okay. So I'm drinking one that I picked out entirely because of the name, and this is Crazy Rich Lupulins, which I just thought was fantastic. I mean, we're not in Singapore, but we're close-ish to it, closer than we
Crazy
were
Rich,
at
yeah.
home. Crazy Rich Lupulins.
There's a lot of people who are very, very wealthy here as well.
That's true.
Yes.
Yes. So I had to look up what a lupulin is because I wanted to know how to say it. And it is, what was it? It's the glandular hairs on the hops. And it's something that's, I guess, has been trending to put into beers to make them hoppier tasting.
Can I try it? Is it
Yeah.
good?
So it's
try
like
it.
beer hair?
Mm-hmm.
Beer
hop hair?
A beer hair beer.
Weird.
Like the hair of the dog, but the hair of the beer.
Oh,
You know.
That's
very
good.
clever.
There's the IPA-ness of it all.
There's the hairs.
It's
There's
good.
the glandular hairs.
Yeah, it's really, again, like the IPAs here are not like IPAs in the States
Very different.
that punch you in the face. Like Dedeker, I
Yeah.
even think that you could drink
No,
that and be like,
the IPA you had the other day, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I could actually drink this.
yeah,
so.
it's chill. I'm also having an IPA, but a session IPA. I think I've had this one before. Both of these are carbon brews. And this is the Stayin' Alive session IPA.
Fun.
These are all just like
Disco.
really cute little
Yeah.
cans.
Nice.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
fun. So,
Love it.
okay, shall we get on this?
Mm.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Let's all get ready to party one more time with our good friend Nehemiah.
Is this it? Are we done?
No, second to last.
Oh, okay,
Next week
okay.
is the last one of Nehemiah.
Got it. Okay.
All right. Today we are reading Nehemiah chapters 8 through 10 and then Proverbs 2. As we get started, we want to remind everyone to read responsibly and drink responsibly.
You can drink along with us, or you can listen while you're in the car.
But please do not do both at the same time.
And with that, Nehemiah chapter 8. All the people gathered themselves together as one man. Into the broad place they assembled.
Wait, they became like a transformer or something?
Like a
like-
Megazord.
Yeah, the Power
yeah.
Rangers.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it, yeah.
Gathered themselves together as one man into the broad place that was before the water gate. And they spoke to Ezra the scribe to bring the book of the law of Moses.
Oh, Ezra.
Whoa.
Do you think that's the same Ezra?
This is the
What?
crossover.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about this. So they're mentioned.
Cameo. Wow.
Because remember, originally in the Hebrew Bible, this was one book. That was Ezra Nehemiah was one book together.
Well, was Ezra only a scribe? Was he a scribe and a prophet, or was he kind of just like a lonely scribe?
I don't know if either of these guys are prophets. Actually, I don't think they are.
They're just
well,
badasses.
Because Nehemiah really thinks he's hot shit. Okay.
No, they're like leaders of the church. And Ezra, I believe, is a Levite. So he is part of the priestly family. Nehemiah, I think, is not. But I don't think either of them are prophets because Yahweh hasn't spoken directly to either.
You're right.
It's true.
He doesn't seem to speak that much anymore.
He's kind of starting to phase this out. We are starting to phase out Yahweh speaking directly to folks.
Yeah, that's really interesting. He's just like over it by this point.
Yeah. He's bored with the project.
He's like, I'm gonna have a son come in and he can deal with it all.
I'm cooking up a son. I'm working on a new direction.
Yeah,
he's gonna take over the family business. I'm tired of it.
That's true. Yeah. This is like an episode of Succession.
I'm ready to retire. Okay, but remember, so Viggo Mortensen plays Nehemiah and Eddie Redmayne is Ezra.
Oh, cute.
Oh,
cute.
okay.
It's two of them.
Love it.
Okay, so they spoke to Ezra the scribe to bring the book of the law of Moses, which Yahweh had commanded to Israel. Ezra the priest brought the law before the assembly, both men and women, and all who could hear with understanding on the first day of the 7th month.
What's fun is that in the Message Bible, this book, he keeps referring to as the Revelation.
Oh.
Which is confusing, I imagine,
that is confusing.
to the teenage readers that he was writing this
and
for.
And to the 30-something-year-old reader who has heard so much about Revelation.
Who's obsessed with Revelation.
But knows that it doesn't go here, okay?
But it's the book of the Revelation of Moses.
I see.
What it was called.
Because the law was revealed to Moses.
Right.
Okay.
And then after that, he just calls it the Revelation. I'm like,
yeah, that is confusing.
That's misleading.
No, not cool, man. Not cool.
He read therein before the broad place that was before the water gate from early morning until midday, in the presence of the men and the women, and of those who could understand, and the ears of all the people were attentive to the book of the law.
So it's like sort of a live audiobook.
Yeah,
reading.
that's fun.
Oh, I like that. That's cute.
Ezra the scribe stood on a pulpit of wood, which they had made for the purpose, and beside him stood, here we go, Mattithiah and Shema and Ananiah and Uriah and Hilkiah and Maaseiah on his right hand, and on his left hand, Pedaiah and Mishael and Malchijah and Hashum and Hashbaddanah, Zechariah and Meshullam. Okay, so he's got the whole assembly there.
Yeah.
Ezra opened the book in the sight of all the people, for he was above all the people.
Wait.
He's on the platform.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, metaphorically or just...
No, they can all see him.
Okay.
I mean, also metaphorically, but...
And when he opened it, all the people stood up.
Ooh.
Oh.
And Ezra blessed Yahweh, the great God.
So... sorry. Go on. There's more.
All the people answered, Amen, Amen, with a lifting up of their hands, and they bowed their heads and worshiped Yahweh with their faces to the ground.
So in the Message here, same thing, right? He opened the book. As he opened the book, everyone stood. Then Ezra praised God, the great God, and all the people responded, "Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah." Okay.
Like, yeah, baby.
With hands raised high, literally says. So they were like, "Oh, yes."
It's the beginning of the worship service.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think they did that like back this far? No. Like, when did that become a thing?
I mean, I think ecstatic expressions of transcendental feelings probably is very human and goes all the way back to the beginning of our history.
Okay.
I remember
I'll take your word for it.
I remember once reading something about the like hands over your head kind of victory gesture.
Oh.
That there must be something universal to it because what was it? They did a study of like children who were blind who would never have seen another person do it, but they do that same gesture of like when they are happy or excited, they'll put their hands up like, yes,
feels triumphant.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Okay, so everyone says, oh yes, baby. Oh yes, baby. Yeah. Also, Jeshua and Bani and Sherebiah, Jamin, Akub, Shabbathai, Hodiah, Maaseiah, Kalida, Azariah, Jozabad, Hanan, Peliah, and the Levites caused the people to understand the law, and the people stood in their place. They read in the book, in the law of God, distinctly, and they gave the sense, so that they understood the reading. Like they made it make sense? Is that what that means?
According to Eugene,
yeah.
they were translating it or explaining it.
In real time?
Boy. So this is the beginning of
We're going to interpret this for you.
so many iterations
Wow.
of telephone game.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy. Nehemiah, who was the governor, and Ezra, the priest, the scribe, and the Levites who taught the people, said to all the people, "This day is holy to Yahweh your God. Don't mourn nor weep." For all the people wept when they heard the words of the law. Okay, so they're like, oh, yes.
And then they're...
Oh, yes.
Well, so
Are there people who cry in church?
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
yes.
Oh, yes.
yes.
Oh,
yes.
God.
Yes.
Okay.
Including myself many times.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
sure.
As a
Why?
young teenager.
Oh.
Yeah, man. It's emotional stuff.
Yeah, they
guess.
get
I'll
you.
take your
They
word
get you.
for it.
Sometimes very directly manipulating your
Right.
emotions.
Yeah.
Are they like, but God loves you in spite of all of the bad things that you've done?
Basically.
God really, really likes you. Cool.
You
We're
kinda
so
nailed it
close.
there.
We're
I'm
so
like-
close to Emily being able to literally do
Seriously.
her own sermon.
Seriously.
Like,
Can you imagine?
I think she could already do it.
I feel like at the end
the
of this
Jesus
book,
piece is missing.
At the-
but-
Listen, it would just be all fake, but I think that I could do like an interpretive, or I could just improv like a sermon.
yeah, at the
I
end of
agree.
this, when we finish this podcast, when we finish reading this book, we'll have a
Mhm.
church service. It'll be open
Oh,
invite to
God.
all DBS listeners.
Right. Okay. I
Come
like
to the
this.
church service. Emily will improv a sermon,
Yep.
and we'll have lemonade afterwards, and it'll be great.
I will improv some worship songs.
We're not
Yes.
going to have lemonade. We're going to have beer.
Okay.
Right.
Or wine or something. Yeah, improv some worship songs. Do it. Like grab your guitar and just see what happens.
We'll do one of those like AI worship song generators for the lyrics, and
Oh
then
yeah,
we'll
it'll be
all
about a
improv
duck,
the music.
but it'll be really beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, keep
So the
going.
people are weeping.
Yeah.
Then he said to them, "Go your way, eat the fat, and drink the sweet,
Whoa.
and send portions to him for whom nothing is prepared. For this day is holy to our Lord. Neither be you grieved, for the joy of Yahweh is your strength."
Yeah. So he's saying like, just go home and
Go
eat
party.
some food, and
You
also
can
give
go
some
your
food
own
to
way.
poor people.
Yeah.
If you please.
Oh yeah.
Go party and help the poor people party also. So the Levites stilled all the people, saying, "Hold your peace, for the day is holy. Neither be you grieved."
Okay. I wonder if maybe the crowd is so big that the Levites have to be out there kind of relaying again what he's saying in
Mhm.
real time.
Probably.
It seems like a complicated operation, really.
Yeah.
All the people went their way to eat and to drink and to send portions and to make great mirth, because they had understood the words that were declared to them. On the second day,
Okay.
We're
And that was-
gathered
That was the
together.
first day. This is a ...
yes, on the second day, were gathered together the heads of fathers' houses of all the people, the priests and the Levites, to Ezra the scribe, even to give attention to the words of the law. They found written in the law how that Yahweh had commanded by Moses that the children of Israel should dwell in booths in the feast of the 7th month,
Right.
Wait, is
which
that
is
like
Sukkot. Sukkot?
Sukkah?
Oh.
Sukkah?
Sorry to all the Jews that are
Sorry.
listening.
Yeah. But yeah, we learned about this way back in, what was it? Exodus?
Long time ago.
Oh.
Yes.
Way back, or maybe Numbers or something. But yeah,
Mhm.
there's this holiday where they all go live in little
You
like
live in a little hut.
huts. Little
Yeah.
like small huts.
Mhm.
Cool.
Mhm.
Okay.
And that they should publish and proclaim in all their cities and in Jerusalem, saying, "Go forth to the mountain and get olive branches, and branches of wild olive, and myrtle
Mm.
branches, and palm branches, and branches of thick trees to make booths."
Literally whatever you can find.
Any branch, any kind of branch.
To make booths, as it is
Uh-huh.
written.
Yep.
So the people went forth and brought them and made themselves booths, everyone on the roof of his house.
Oh, on the roofs.
Yeah,
of their
that's
houses.
fun. It's like a little
Interesting.
camping experience up on the
Wait,
roof.
so they must have roofs that are not
Yeah, they're like the flat
thatched.
style.
Yeah, they're flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Interesting.
remember way back when who was it? When David, yeah, was creeping up on
Bathsheba.
I-
on
Yeah.
Bathsheba.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had those like flat roofs.
Mhm.
You're right.
She was bathing.
Wait,
on
wasn't
the
that
roof.
Richard
Yeah.
Gere?
In that one
Yes,
film, yes.
In that one film, yes.
Yeah.
I can't remember who did we cast as David?
Oh, we'd have to go back and look. But
I'll-
anyway,
I'll
I'm
look
going to
it
keep
up while you're
on
reading. Yeah.
Yeah.
rolling. Everyone on the roof of his house, and in their courts, and in the courts of the house of God, and in the broad place of the water gate, and in the broad place of the gate of Ephraim. All the assembly of those who were come again out of the captivity made booths and lived in the booths. For since the days of Jeshua the son of Nun to that day, the children of Israel had not done so. Oh, so we forgot about this whole holiday.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the theme of a lot of this is we've
Yeah.
sort of forgotten about all of our stuff.
This is not the first time this has happened where we're like,
Yeah.
oh, right. We did have a
Oh.
culture once.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, I found this book back in a closet,
Yeah.
and it reminds us of all the stuff we should be doing. Also,
Right.
bonus points to Brady in the chat
Yes.
for remembering that it was Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, good job,
that's
Brady.
a good one.
Yeah,
He's,
so he's
real
David.
good looking. Yeah.
There was very great gladness. Also, day by day, from the first day to the last day,
Yeah,
he
sorry.
read in the book of the law of God. They kept the feast 7 days, and on the 8th day was a solemn assembly according to the ordinance.
Wait, they're solemn now?
They had 7 days of partying.
And now
And then
they're
there's
like,
like a
we're going to
solemn-
rest.
Like a
we're
more
gonna
sacred-
rest
Yeah.
from working and partying.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna rest
Are you
from our
not allowed to
boots.
party on Sunday?
Depends on how you define partying.
I mean, if partying is going to church, then obviously you're allowed to do that.
I think the idea is that you have to like make all the hors d'oeuvres for the party the day before because you can't do any
Yeah.
work on Sunday.
Mhm, mhm.
So you had to prep, they had to all be something that doesn't need reheating or whatever.
Toads, yeah. Okay, I'm going. 9. Now, in the 24th day of this month, the children of Israel were assembled with fasting and with sackcloth and earth on them.
Oh, so
They decided to
they're,
get
like,
real
all-
dirty.
Yeah,
So we're
real.
real pendulum swing here.
Yeah.
The seed of Israel separated themselves from all foreigners. Okay, we're doing that again.
Cool.
And stood and confessed their sins and the iniquities of their fathers. They stood up in their place and read in the book of the law of Yahweh their God a 4th part of the day, and another 4th part they confessed, and worshipped Yahweh their God. What does that mean, the 4th part of their day?
Like a quarter of the day.
Okay.
So like
Yeah.
1/4 of the day they read the book.
And then
Another
they
quarter,
confessed for
yeah.
a bunch of hours.
Mhm.
Then stood up on the stairs of the Levites Jeshua and Benai, Kadmiel, Shebaniah, Buni, Sherebiah, Bani, and Chenuniah. Chenunina. Chenunina. Chenina. and cried with a loud voice to Yahweh their God. Then the Levites, Jeshua and Kadmiel, Bani, Hashabaniah,
Mhm.
Sherebiah, Hodiah, Shebaniah, and Pethahiah. Pethahiah.
I mean, these are great names.
Yeah.
Pethahiah said, "Stand up and bless Yahweh your God from everlasting to everlasting, and blessed be your glorious name, which is exalted above all blessing and praise. You are Yahweh, even you alone. You have made heaven, the heaven of heavens, with all their host, the earth and all things that are thereon, the seas and all that is in them, and you preserve them all. And the host of heaven worships you. You are Yahweh, the God who did choose Abraham, or Abram. That just says Abram.
Well, yeah, because remember his first name was Abram, and then later on his name was
there it is.
Abraham.
And brought him forth out of Ur of the Chaldees, and gave him the name Abraham, and found his heart faithful before you, and made a covenant with him to give the land of the Canaanite, the Hittite, the Amorite, and the Perizzite, and the Jebusite, and the Girgashite, to give it to his seed, and have performed your words, for you are righteous."
You know how, have you ever read a series of books? I know you all have, everyone out there.
Yes.
But where you get that thing of you start like the second book in the series, and it feels like the first few chapters, there's just a lot of taking a moment to kind of recap what happened in the previous
They used
book.
to do that.
It'll be like so-and-so
Yes.
showed up. They had
Did they do that in
this and that.
Chronicles
They
of
knew him
Narnia?
from there.
Maybe it's been too long since I read them
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
But it's like every time I start, like you go immediately from the first to the second book and you're like, ugh, all this
I
recap.
know, I
feel
just
like
read it.
the Bible does that a lot. Where
Yeah.
it's like, just in case you forgot, here's kind of the
I mean,
Abram.
I usually did forget, so I do kind of
Okay, fair.
appreciate it.
Fair.
You saw the affliction of our fathers in Egypt and heard their cry by the Red Sea, and shown signs and wonders on Pharaoh and on all his servants and on all the people of his land, for you knew that they dealt proudly against them and did get you a name, as it is this day. Actually, I kind of appreciate that they do this, but they don't do it with the really lesser known stories. And that to me is the thing that I need the most help on.
Right.
We
But
know
honestly-
the hits. We know the classics.
But
Yeah.
probably nobody remembers those stories, so whatever, it's fine. I'll just be like everyone else. You divided the sea before them so that they went through the midst of the sea on the dry land, and their pursuers, you did cast into the depths as a stone into the mighty waters. Moreover, in a pillar of cloud you led them by day, and in a pillar of fire by night, to give them the light in the way in which they should go. You came down also on Mount Sinai and spoke with them from heaven and gave them right ordinances and true laws, good statutes and commandments, and made known to them your holy Sabbath, and commanded them commandments and statutes and a law by Moses your servant, and gave them bread from the sky for their hunger.
All right.
Oh,
bread
like
just
the
fell
bread
from
rolls
the
go
sky?
around floating bread rolls like my
Oh,
beer.
Yeah.
It
Maybe
fits.
yeah. Okay. Perfect.
And brought forth water for them out of the rock for their thirst, and commanded those who they should go in to possess the land for which you had sworn to give them. But they and our fathers dealt proudly and hardened their neck, and didn't listen to your commandments and refused to obey. Ow. Neither were mindful of your wonders that you did among them, but hardened their neck, and in their rebellion appointed a captain to recruit to their bondage. Who's that?
Appointed a captain to return to their bondage?
Oh, to return to their bondage. Yeah.
I don't know.
Some captain, my captain. But you are a
Oh,
god.
I see. It sounds like okay. So according to the message here,
Mhm.
it says what was it? They turned a deaf ear. They refused to remember the miracles you'd done for them.
Mm.
They turned stubborn, got it into their heads to return to their Egyptian slavery. So I think they mean more like went back to someone to take over them rather than like they appointed their own commander to do
Yeah.
things.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you are a God ready to pardon, gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and abundant in loving kindness.
I mean, it's like slow in that maybe it goes on for several generations.
Okay.
But then it's kind of 0 to 60 once he
Right.
does react.
yeah. And also, like, what's slow for Yahweh? Because, like, if he's living
yeah.
for all eternity, that's basically a second.
He
Whatever.
just counted to 10.
Yeah. And then,
That was it.
and then he's like, you know what? We're going to kill everyone.
Yeah.
So, okay, slow to anger and abundant in loving kindness, and didn't forsake them. Yes, when they had made them a molten calf and said, "This is your God who brought you up out of Egypt," and had committed awful blasphemies, yet you in your manifold mercies didn't forsake them in the wilderness. The pillar of cloud didn't depart from over them by day to lead them in the way, neither the pillar of fire by night to show them light and the way in which they should go. Did Ezra write this? Or did, I don't know. It's just like
I think someone else wrote it about
was Nehemiah.
and Ezra. But this is all Ezra
Nehemiah-
reading this, right?
I thought that Nehemiah, oh yeah, maybe. Nehemiah was the one who wrote it, remember?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Because there's parts in first person, but this isn't
Mhm.
one of them.
Yeah, I don't
so
know. Whatever.
maybe it's cutting back and forth.
It's just,
between-
it's kind of nicely written.
Yeah, it's not bad, actually.
Like for the
This-
Bible, it's like
Right.
pretty well written.
It's actually
Our
nice,
standards
yeah.
are so low.
I agree.
Exactly.
I agree.
You gave also your good spirit to instruct them, and didn't withhold your manna from their mouth, and gave them water for their thirst. Yes, 40 years did you sustain them in the wilderness, and they lacked nothing. Their clothes didn't grow old, and their feet didn't swell. Moreover, you gave them kingdoms and peoples, which you did allot after their portions, so they possessed the land of Sihon,
Sihon?
even the land of the king of Heshbon, and the land of Og, king of Bashan. Their children also multiplied you as the stars of the sky, and brought them into the land concerning which you did say to their fathers that you should go in to possess it. So the children went in and possessed the land, and you subdued before what?
Eugene says, well, they entered all right.
As it were. So the children went in and possessed the land, and you subdued before them the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, and gave them into their hands with their kings and the people of the land, that they might do with them as they would. They took fortified cities and a fat land, and possessed houses full of all good things, cisterns hewn out, vineyards and olive groves, and fruit trees in abundance. So they ate, and were filled, and became fat, and delighted themselves in your great goodness. Nevertheless, They were disobedient and rebelled against you, and cast your law behind their back, and killed your prophets that testified against them to turn them against you, and committed awful blasphemies. Who are they referring to there?
The people. The
remember
Hebrews.
they like hunted down all the prophets for a while.
Was there one specific prophet that was
they definitely bullied everybody. Remember Jeremiah was so sad about that.
Right.
About being such an outcast. No one wanted to hang out with the prophets.
Who was the sad prophet?
I think that was Jeremiah, the weeping prophet.
The weeping prophet,
Right. But remember that was that time when like 100 prophets were all hiding in one cave because they were rounding them all up and killing them.
But I thought that was like Jezebel and what's-his-face doing that.
Yeah. That was.
Yes.
Is that not what we're talking about here?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, fine.
Therefore, you delivered them into the hand of their adversaries who distressed them. And in the time of their trouble, when they cried to you, you heard from heaven. And according to your manifold mercies, you gave them saviors who saved them out of the hand of their adversaries. They're really leaving out a lot of stuff, but they're kind of just like glossing over and saying like, these, they were bad, but then they asked you for help and you helped them.
Right. They left out the 70 years of terrible things that happened.
Exactly. But after they had rest, they did evil again before you. Therefore left you them in the hand of their enemies so that they had the dominion over them. Yet when they returned and cried to you, you heard from heaven. And many times did you deliver them according to your mercies and testified against them that you might bring them again to your law. Yet they dealt proudly and didn't listen to your commandments, but sinned against your ordinances, which if a man do, he shall live in them, and withdrew the shoulder and hardened their neck and would not
this
hear.
neck hardening, I really don't like thinking about it.
You're like, I want my neck to be supple, damn it.
Yeah, I want a supple, smooth neck.
Is it because you carry a lot of tension in your
neck? I do. I already carry a lot of
like,
tension in my neck, and so I'm just like,
so you just don't want to think about more of that. Okay. All right, that's fair.
So they're definitely giving us this big old recap, but isn't like Chronicles going to be another big old recap, but much less short and sweet?
Much less short, yes, but also kind of a Chronicles is just a particular period of time where this is kind of going all the way back to
doing a full review here.
Yeah.
Yet many years did you bear with them and testified against them by your spirit through your prophets, yet would they not give ear? Therefore gave you them into the hand of the peoples of the lands. Nevertheless, in your manifold mercies, you did not make a full end of them. Full end of them, nor forsake them, for you are a gracious and merciful God. Now, therefore, our God, the great and mighty, the awesome God, who keep covenant and loving kindness, don't let all the travail seem little before you that has come on us, on our kings, on our princes, and on our priests, and on our prophets, and on our fathers, and on all your people, since the time of the kings of Assyria to this day. However, you are just in all that has come on us, for you have dealt truly, but we have done wickedly. Neither have our kings, our princes, our priests, nor our fathers kept your law, nor listened to your commandments and your testimonies with which you did testify against them. For they have not served you in their kingdom, and in your great goodness that you gave them, and in the large and fat land which you gave before them, neither turned they from their wicked works. Behold, we are servants this day. And as for the land that you gave to our fathers to eat the fruit of it and the good of it, behold, we are servants in it. It yields much increase to the kings whom you have set over us because of our sins. Also, they have power over our bodies and over our cattle at their pleasure, and we are in great distress. Yet, for all this, we make sure a covenant and write it, and our princes, our Levites, and our priests seal to it.
Wow, good job, Emily. Doing the whole history. So we do that whole history. We end up on this kind of passive aggressive. Well, but now we have these kings that are set over us because we were sinful. And hey, God, that really sucks.
Yeah, it's almost as if the thing that those other people reported to the king of like, y'all, you can't let them build back up because they're going to try to overthrow you or get independence from you. They were right, actually. They were correct.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, but it does seem that way.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break to talk about some ways that you can support this show. If you're loving it, if you are having the best time, with this
Ever.
Nehemiah chap, as we all are. The first thing is tell your friends about it. Bring your friends to the show. Take them to the live shows. Just grab them by the hand and walk them
With
over.
consent. Don't force them.
Sure. Yeah. Be like, hey, I want to share something wonderful with you. And then sit them down at drunkbiblestudy.com/live, where you can see when our upcoming live shows are and then watch them on Twitch. And it'll be a great time. And they'll really thank you for it afterward, being like, wow, thank you for giving me the gift of that experience.
Yeah.
So really, who would want to miss out on that? Also, if you want to contribute financially to the show, it really, even a little bit, goes a long way to help us in paying for hosting costs and things like that for this show. You can do that at patreon.com/drunkbiblestudy. And as a parishioner, we have special thank yous like early releases of episodes, personal toasts on the show, extra commentaries and drink recipes and things like that we'll post occasionally on our Patreon. I mean, we're just drinking beers today, but sometimes we do fancy cocktails as well.
Yeah, when I get back into a place, even like at the Airbnb in Japan, maybe we
you
could
probably
make a
make some
fancy
cocktails.
cocktail.
Yeah.
We'll see what we got there.
Awesome. Well, we would really appreciate your help, and it goes a long way to supporting this show. Thank you so much. And we're back. Nehemiah chapter 10. Now, those who were sealed. Sorry, hold on. Sealed? What?
Well, okay, at the end of the last chapter, it says like the princes, the Levites, the priests seal to it. So it's like they stamped this official recounting.
I see. So these are the signers of the Declaration of Independence
Yes,
or whatever.
correct.
Okay. Got it.
Do you
James
know-
Madison.
No, do you know that my ancestor
Oh, right.
penned the Declaration of Independence? His name was
Wow.
Thomas Matlack.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look it
that's
up.
cool. Thank
It's
you.
true.
Thank you for what you've done for our
I
country.
didn't do shit, but you're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay. Those who were sealed were Nehemiah, the governor, the son of Hakaliah and Zedekiah, Sariah, Azariah, Jeremiah, Pashur, Amariah, Malkijah, Hattush, Shebaniah, Maluch, Harim, Meremoth, Obadiah. Oh, yeah, that's fun.
Obadiah. Daniel?
Obadiah. Daniel, Nathan, Baruch. Meshulam, Abijah. Oh, Abijah's back. That's fun. Mijamin, Maaziah, Bilgai. That
Bill guy, the science guy.
Shemaiah. These were the priests. The Levites, namely Jeshua, the son of Azaniah, Binui of the sons of Henadad, Kadmiel and their brothers, Shebaniah, Hodiah, Kalita, Peliah, Hanan, Micah, Rehab, Hashabiah, Zakur, Sherebiah, Shebaniah, Hodiah, Bani, Beninu, period. The chiefs of the people, Parash, Pahath Moab, Elam, Musk, Zaktu.
He had to be in here.
Bani.
Of course, he would find a way to get in here.
Oh, and then these pals, Bonnie and Bunny.
Cute.
Asgad, Bye-bye,
Bye-bye.
Hodiah, Hashum, Bezai, Harif, Anathoth, Nobai, Magpiash, Meshulam, Hazir, Meshzabel, Zadok, Jadua, Pelatia, Pilates, Hanan, Anaiah, Hoshea, Hananiah, Hashub, Halohesh, Pilha, Shobek, Rehum, Hashabna, Maaseah, and Ahiah, Hanan, Anan, Maluch, Harim, Baana.
Yay. You did it.
Wow. The rest of the people, the priests, the Levites, the porters, the singers, the Nethinim, and all those who had separated themselves from the peoples of the land to the law of God, their wives, their sons, and their daughters, everyone who had knowledge and understanding. Great.
Cool.
They joined with their brothers, their nobles, and entered into a curse. And entered into a curse and into an oath to walk in God's law, which was given by Moses, the servant of God, and to observe and do all the commandments of Yahweh our Lord, and his ordinances and his statutes. And that we would not give our daughters to the people of the land, nor take their daughters to our sons. So we're back to the whole need to keep our bloodlines pure kind of thing. Yeah. And if the peoples of the land bring wares or any grain on the Sabbath day to sell, that we would not buy of them on the Sabbath or on a holy day, and that we would forego the 7th year and the exaction of every debt.
Right, back on Jubilee.
That's interesting that came back because I thought the Jubilee was every seventh year was the full-on Jubilee of like everything goes back. But there was something else that happened on
Jubilee.
The Mecca Jubilee.
Mecca Jubilee.
Mecca Jubilee. Wow. Goodness. I love it.
But I thought it was one of those things that kind of like never really got observed is what we learned before.
But it's been a couple times where prophets or various people have been like, hey, we should actually be doing this.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, we should actually be doing this.
And everyone's like, yeah, that sounds cool. In 7 years, yeah, totally we'll do that. And then 7 years later, they're like, but I kind of like having all these servants.
Slaves,
yeah. Okay. Also, we made ordinances for us to charge ourselves yearly with the 3rd part of a shekel for the service of the house of our God. For the showbread, the Westminster bread show.
I love it.
The showbread, and for the continual meal offering, and for the continual burnt offering, for the Sabbaths, for the new moons, for the set feasts, and for the holy things, and for the sin offerings to make atonement for Israel, and for all the work of the house of God. We cast lots, the priests, the Levites, and the people, for the wood offering, to bring it into the house of our God, according to our fathers' houses, at times appointed year by year, to burn on the altar of Yahweh our God, as it is written in the law. So they kind of cast lots to see who got what month, I guess, like which house does which month.
Yeah.
That's fun. And to bring the first fruits of our ground. Oh yeah, we forgot about that one. The first fruits of our ground and the first fruits of all fruit of all manner of trees, year by year, to the house of Yahweh. Also, the firstborn of our sons and of our cattle, as it is written in the law, and the firstborn of our herds and of our flocks, to bring to the house of our God to the priests who minister in the house of our God.
So wait. The firstborn sons, what did they do?
They get dedicated to God. And remember we read about this, like they have to do some service.
Okay. I thought it was like, and we're giving them to the priesthood or something. Like they just like have to be born into.
It seems like that's more something you do with your extra kids.
That was kind of later on was what we used to do.
Yeah. I guess you have them go serve though. Maybe that's the deal.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay. And that we should bring the first fruits of our dough and our heave offerings and the fruit of all manner of trees, the new wine and the oil to the priests. The priests were very insistent for some reason on the wine. I don't know what To the priests, to the chambers of the house of our God, and the tithes of our ground to the Levites. So we got to give them property too, right? Because they can't own their own. For they, the Levites, take the tithes in all the cities of our tillage. I wonder if that ban on Levites owning property has stuck around, or if they've somehow managed to be like, no, we can own property now, but also you should tithe to us.
I wouldn't be surprised if they found that kind of grift.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. The priest, the son of Aaron, shall be with the Levites when the Levites take tithes, and the Levites shall bring up the tithe of the tithes to the house of our God, to the chambers, into the treasure house.
Ooh.
For the children of Israel and the children of Levi shall bring the heave offering of the grain, of the new wine, and of the oil to the chambers, where are the vessels of the sanctuary, and the priests who minister, and the porters and the singers, and we will not forsake the house of our God.
Never.
Wow. Yay, you did it. I didn't like this one as much this week.
Yeah, I mean,
we had all this action and all this like building the wall, and Viggo Mortensen was like taking his shirt off and stuff. But then now it was just Eddie Redmayne just reading and just reiterating, hey, we should really get back to doing the things that we used to do before.
Yeah.
So
remember all these traditions we used to do?
And everyone's like,
let's do it.
Let's do that.
I guess they did party for a while. They liked that part.
There was a lot of partying.
They liked an excuse to party.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, are we ready for some wisdom?
So ready. I'm so ready to be wise.
Right.
Yes, I'm
Finally,
ready to be wise.
For once in my life.
Now join us for some words of wisdom from the book of Proverbs.
Proverbs chapter 2. My son, if you will receive my words and store up my commandments within you, so as to turn your ear to wisdom and apply your heart to understanding. Yes, if you call out for discernment and lift up your voice for understanding, if you seek her as silver and search for her as for hidden treasures.
Who her?
Yeah.
I think her is wisdom.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Sure. Yeah.
Then you will understand the fear of Yahweh and find the knowledge of God. For Yahweh gives wisdom. Out of his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. He lays up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk in integrity, that he may guard the paths of justice and preserve the way of his saints. Then you will understand righteousness and justice, equity, and every good path.
Yeah.
For wisdom will enter into your heart. Knowledge will be pleasant to your soul.
Yeah.
Discretion will watch over you.
Oh, so
Understanding will keep you to deliver you from the way of evil, from the men who speak perverse things, who forsake the paths of uprightness, to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil and delight in the perverseness of evil, who are crooked in their ways and wayward in their paths, to deliver you from the strange woman. Even from the foreigner who flatters with her words, who forsakes the friend of her youth and forgets the covenant of her God. For her house leads down to death, her paths to the departed spirits.
Goodness.
None who go to her return again, neither do they attain to the paths of life. So you may walk in the ways of good men and keep the paths of the righteous.
Yeah.
For the upright will dwell in the land, the perfect will remain in it, but the wicked will be cut off from the land. The treacherous will be rooted out of it.
That's cool.
Okay, well, just to recap, so far our pieces of wisdom have been don't follow vampires.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be stupid.
Don't reject wisdom.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna write. I'm just gonna keep
What
track.
was this one?
Don't be stupid.
Don't
I think
follow
strange
shifty
women.
ladies. Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay, I like it.
I think don't fall in with strange women
Yeah.
or shifty ladies. I'll write
Shifty
that one
ladies.
too.
This reading
We'll have a
plan
good compendium by the time we're done.
Yeah.
This reading plan from Mountain Brook Baptist Church titles this one, Doug Dortch. Which
Doug
That's
Dortch.
an amazing,
is a fantastic name.
amazing name.
All right, Mr. Dortch.
Doug Dortch titles this one, The Moral Benefits of Wisdom. I think Don't Follow Strange Ladies is better.
I think that's the one.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
the one.
I get what they're getting at, but I prefer our title for sure. Wow. Okay, so we're ending this shit next week.
Yes.
And then doing a quiz, and then,
Yeah, so we're going to start early next week.
Yeah.
We started a tiny bit early today for those
I think
of you.
maybe 30 minutes just in case.
Yeah, we're going to start a full half hour early.
Yeah.
Because Emily has to run to work immediately after we
Yeah,
do these.
yeah.
So we're going to start early so we have time to do the quiz with everybody.
Yeah. I
So,
think that's a good plan.
Yeah.
Great.
For sure. Okay. Alrighty. Looking forward to it. Everyone, thank you for joining us for Bible study today. If you want to join the audience in our live stream shows, follow us on Twitch at Drunk Bible Study or go to drunkbiblestudy.com/live. If you want even more Drunk Bible Study, including early releases, cocktail recipes, personal toasts on the show, and more, become one of our patrons at patreon.com/drunkbiblestudy. If you enjoy the show, take a moment to subscribe and write us a nice review on iTunes, letting other people know what you like about it. You can also join fellow listeners in the Drunk Bible Study Fans and Fellowship Facebook group or on our Discord server at discord.drunkbiblestudy.com. Find us on Twitter at Drunk Bible Cast, on Instagram at Drunk Bible Study, or send us an email to info@drunkbiblestudy.com. Drunk Bible Study is created and produced by Jace Lindgren, Dedeker Winston, and me, Emily Matlack. Our theme song is Book Club by Josh and Anand from their album Home of the. For more information, visit us at drunkbiblestudy.com.
I made a memory about your dad. He's in a book club. Whoa. He's got a history of skimming past all the pages of ageless confessional